This is Dan from totalRL. I'm with Warrington Wolves hooker, Mr. Danny Walker. How are you doing, pal?
Yeah, good, mate,
yeah, not bad, thank you. You started at the Widnes Vikings, didn't you? But you're a Warrington boy through and through.
Yeah.
So when you signed in 2019, I mean, there was 2 offers before that, weren't there? Is that right, to try and get you here? So the 3rd time you weren't letting it slip, was you?
That's it, mate, yeah. And obviously, it was over at Widnes. We'd just been relegated, and I just thought there's a chance that I couldn't, turn down. And obviously to play for me hometown club too, it's too much of a privilege to turn down. And I just always felt like if I didn't do it then maybe it won't get, that chance might not come up again. So looking back at it now, I'm glad the decision that I've made, and things are going well at the minute. So yeah.
You're still only 23 now, and you're established Super League player. Have you just made over 100 appearances now? Have you just reached that landmark?
I think so, mate. Yeah, I think so.
Career appearances.
The Leeds game was my 101st. I remember the commentator saying. So yeah.
That's a good accomplishment. So early on in your career, you must be happy with that.
Yeah, no, definitely. I've been lucky enough to be given that chance a few times now. Obviously, I don't know how many I've played here now. I think it's 60 something, and then obviously over at Widnes I've played a few games there too.
So what's your best memories so far? I know you're still only premature into your career, but what's your best memories so far?
See, it's a difficult one, this, because I always say debut, my first ever game for Widnes. That was a pretty special moment, because that's obviously everything I've ever wanted to do, was debut in the Super League. But at the same time, obviously I debuted there too against Leeds, first game of the year in 2019. So it's a pretty tough one. I probably can't pick between those two so far.
Okay, here's an interesting. What about your worst memory so far?
Getting relegated.
It's got to be, hasn't it?
We was over in Toronto and we just lost that game, and that's when we got relegated. So yeah, that was definitely worse still far. So
Toronto, since you've dropped out of the league, it's been a bit of a miss. But what was the experience there like for you, from your perspective?
Over in Toronto?
Yeah,
it was obviously, I really enjoyed it. It's obviously expanding the game. Things obviously haven't gone down the right route with whatever's gone on over there. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed my time over there. I thought the crowd really got behind you. I thought it was pretty good. So if that was to come back anytime soon, it'd be alright.
You'd welcome it with open arms. Because Toulouse are thriving at the minute, aren't they? And Catalans they've more than established themselves, haven't they?
More than established themselves. Yeah.
So who's the best player you've played with today? Because you've played with a fair few now, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. I think the biggest name I've probably played with is Greg Inglis. I was pretty starstruck when we signed him, and obviously getting to meet him. I know I put on my Instagram one time about it's not often a lad from Orford gets to meet the GOAT, and I was lucky enough to meet him, because for me he's the GOAT of rugby. So I'd probably say, even though he was injured a fair bit over here and didn't play many games, but I'd still say Greg Inglis.
Yeah, you still got to play with like you said, the GOAT. So what about against? Who's the best player you played against and the toughest?
Toughest? It's a tough question. I always find Alex Walmsley a tough player to play against. He's just massive.
Yeah, a lot of people say that he's an animal.
Yeah, he's just massive, and he's pretty quick as well for a big man. Over the 10 metres, he's pretty
carries
quick.
His weight well, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, big time. And but yeah, I'd probably throw him. Yeah, I'd probably say Walmsley. Yeah.
When you played for England Knights, the tour in PNG, tell us about that experience. That's got to have been something else, hasn't it?
Yeah, it was, mate. It was a proper life lesson, and it was pretty humble experience too, obviously, because you might think that you've had a tough upbringing over here and whatnot, but going over there and seeing how they live, you appreciate everything that we've been given to us over here, and it was definitely a like I say, a real good experience, and I'd love to go back one day.
Yeah, with the first team, with England first team.
Hopefully, mate. Yeah.
Hopefully, that's the dream, mate. Yeah. What's the feeling like with the current playing group? I've just seen the camaraderie there in training. It looks fantastic. I mean, after the disappointment of last season, we got wrongs to put right and stuff. So what's the current playing group like, the camaraderie like now?
Yeah, it's buzzing at the minute. We've obviously gone 5 from 5, so you can imagine that everyone's happy and everyone's buzzing, and it's just about staying consistent now. Not letting our best performance and our worst performance be a massive drop, and always trying to be around like 8 out of 10. Every person being about an 8 out of 10 every week, and we'll not go far wrong doing that. And at the minute, the buzz around the place, everyone's enjoying themselves coming into training, everyone's loving each other's company, and that's a sign of a good team. And hopefully, if we keep things going this way this weekend and keep just focusing week on week and go from there, see where it takes us.
Like you said, minimum expectation. I mean, I know that Darryl demands a lot.
Yeah.
Minimum expectation, 8 out of 10 every week. Like you said, got to be wanting to challenge for honours this year. I mean, the fans are always starving, aren't they? You know yourself because you're a Warrington boy, so it's challenging for honours at least, isn't it?
No, definitely. You know, it's obviously a big club, Warrington, and you know we everything's always expected. But we're expecting a lot of us from outside of our doors, and you know I think we've definitely got a more than capable team to go on and compete for honours. And you know, but like I just said, then it's all about just going week from week. And focusing that way and then seeing how far we can get. But like I said, we know that we've definitely got a good enough team to go on and do special things.
That's excellent. I mean, I was here for the Lee game and for the Salford game, and that's what blew me away. I thought everybody was on the same wavelength. It's I mean, I know there's been a turnover of players, but total different team to last year.
Yeah, definitely. I think we've had something like 15 players turned over, something like that, and. You know, I think the new boys that have come in, they've come in with a great attitude, and you know they've really helped us boys. Because you know, a few lads, me myself personally, I was a bit cautious about how it was going to be coming back this year. A bit nervous about it, but obviously I feel like the new blokes have definitely helped with that. They've drove a real high standard in training and getting the best out of each and every one of us every day that we're out on the training pitch.
Well, that touches on my next point. A lot of people, do you know what rugby league fans are like? They'll say, "Oh, the Aussies are just coming here for a paycheck, blah blah blah." You've just proved that they're not. They're really up for it. Aren't they? They want to win.
100%, yeah. And obviously, Josh Maguire's serving his ban at the minute still, and you know he's raring to go, and he's been class for us through pre-season in terms of driving standards and how hard he trains, and getting, you know, when you see someone like him training hard, you know, he drags someone younger, you know, like the younger lads, drags them up and think, you know what, if he's still training like that, that must be what it takes to be at that high level.
Of course.
And you know, Varner too, he's a workhorse in a machine. Every one of them, Drinker, you know, all the lads that have come in, they've all added something.
Even Sam from Catalans.
Yeah,
Big Cass.
Big Cass, mate, he's a freak. He's a freak. It's like tackling a fridge, mate.
I mean,
it's like a running fridge. It's not funny.
I mean, I'm only just 6 foot, and I just look at him
and imagine how I feel, mate, at 5'8" at a push.
My head's the size of his forearm. Yeah, it's massive.
Freak,
from a player's point of view, what would you like to see ahead of what's going to be inevitable changes from IMG? From your point of view, what would you like to see? Any suggestions? They talk about scrapping. I mean, they seem to change their mind a lot, but they talk about scrapping relegation, not scrapping relegation. What's your take on it?
You know, I think they're going to come in, they're going to look at it and see what they think best. I do think that players have got to have a bit of a voice, and players have got to be a part of, you know, what the talks in what's going to be the future of the game. Because at the end of the day, it's us that are out there on the field. So I think in terms of that, I think players have got to have a voice in that. But you know, I've never really thought too much into it so far because it's still early doors, isn't it? Yeah. And we'll just see what happens near the time when everything starts to take place.
That's it. Record attendance here last week, weren't there?
Yeah.
Do you think? I mean, the attendances are growing, but do you think now is the time for rugby league to take that turn again, get it back to where it was in the 90s, late 80s, and the attendances are booming on a regular basis for the sake of what IMG are going to put in place? Yeah,
definitely. You know, I think obviously we're going through this tough time at the minute in terms of a crisis in terms of money and stuff, so it's hard for people to come out and paying 20, 25 quid a ticket, whatever it is. You know, it's a big ask for them. But you know, the Warrington crowd have certainly come behind us, and you know what, across the whole of rugby, looking at attendances, they seem to be slightly up. You know, and I think if we can be better on the field, we can we can show fans better rugby. It's going to bring people through the door, and you know, we've obviously been getting good crowds this year because of obviously how we've been playing and stuff like that. And you know, long may it continue, long may we have a successful.
That's it.
You know, year and stuff.
Yeah. What's your personal goals for this season?
My personal goals this season? You know what, mate? I like I say, I just try and focus week on week, and you know, just try and be a better version of myself each and every day, each and every week.
I love that.
And if I do that, and I'm always being better, always better in myself, then I believe that I can go on to, you know, do some pretty good things, pretty special things, and hopefully with the team that we've got this year too, if I can keep driving that in terms of myself and they can keep driving it on themselves too, who knows, mate, you know what I mean? I don't really want to say I want this, I want that, I want this. just see what happens day by day, and
That's it, I love that.
just keep enjoying it and keep grinding hard.
I love that answer, mate. Like we said, 5 out of 5. Got Castaway on Friday.
Yeah.
What type of test do you expect?
It's going to be a tough one. Don't get me wrong. You know, they're just coming off the back of a win too.
Much needed.
Yeah, much needed win for them. So they're going to have the tails up a little bit. But you know, I think, me personally, if we turn up at our best, I don't think there's many teams that can stop us. If there is any. You know, if each individual puts 110% in, and you know, and has a right attitude to games, and no one, I feel that it'll be tough to stop us. But you know, they're a good team. Cass, they're a creative team. They've got a few good, real good individual players. So it's going to be a tough test for us. But like I said, if we're on, I think we can go in there and do a job.
That's great. And finally, just before we end it, message for the fans.
Message for the fans: just keep getting behind us, boys.
Keep them records consistent.
That's it. Yeah, we need you more than ever, especially in games like we've had this year. You know, you helped us against Salford. You know, we come back in the second half. That really helped us, and you know, just creating an atmosphere, it gets the players buzzing straight away. And you know, just keep doing your thing. We'll keep doing our thing, and hopefully we'll have a successful year.
Thank you very much for your time today,
Cheers,
Dan.
mate.
Cheers,
Thanks, mate.
fella.
All the best, mate.
You too, man.
Thanks very much.